Welcome to OpenVAS, Section 4 of Learning Practical Network Scanning. In this section, we're going to talk all about downloading and installing OpenVAS, running through the initial setup and configuration of it, and then continuing with some host discoveries and port scannings of those devices, as well as some more in-depth vulnerability assessment and application and OS detection. Finally, we'll take a look at some OpenVAS reports and interpret what our results are. Welcome to downloading and installing OpenVAS. This is video 4.1 of Learning Practical Network Scanning. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to obtain and download and license OpenVAS if necessary, and how to install and run OpenVAS. To start off our install, we're actually going to do so through Kali Linux, which is a popular security Linux distribution. So go to kali.org/downloads, and we're going to download the Kali Linux 64-bit version. This will download an ISO file, which will then mount as a new VM in either VMware Workstation Player or VirtualBox. Now that Kali has finished downloading, we're going to create a new virtual machine, and we're going to use that ISO that downloaded as an installer. So we're going to select Other Linux 4.x 64-bit, and then we can just call this Kali. And I'm simply going to change the location for my system here. We can give it disk size of a couple gigs or so. Since we're installing OpenVAS, I'm going to give it 50 gigs just so I have some padding. And I'm going to customize the hardware and remove some of the stuff we don't need. I don't need the USB controller, the sound card, or the printer. We're going to give it 2 CPUs and give it 2 gigabytes of memory. And I'm going to change my network adapter so that it's bridged. That way I get an IP address that's directly on my local network here rather than having it NAT internally with the system. We're going to change the CD drive to use an ISO and select the Kali Linux that we downloaded. So that should be good to go, and we'll finish that and start this. We can ignore the VMware tools for now. And I'm going to go ahead and do a graphical install. We can go ahead and continue with the language of your choice and choose your locale, keyboard configuration. I'll just give this a host name of Kali. You can name it OpenVAS or whatever else. We don't have a domain here, so home is fine. And we're going to choose a password for our system. You can pretty much just continue through all of the partitioning questions, just next, continue. When it asks you if you want to write the changes to disk, say yes. Once that finishes, go ahead and click continue for the network mirror. Skip past the proxy information. Go ahead and install grub to the bootloader. Select your device, most likely it'll show SDA. Now the system is ready. We can go ahead and make sure that our CD is disconnected, and then click continue. System will reboot, and we should boot into Kali. Once your system boots up, go ahead and log in with the root user. This is not a normal thing that you would do. Do not set up a system running OpenVAS in a production environment as the root user, but for this instance, just trying to run it on Kali, it's okay for now. Go ahead and log in with that credential that you created during the install process, and go ahead and open the terminal. What we're going to do is do an update and an upgrade of anything on the system before we try and install the OpenVAS package. So go ahead and type in apt update, press enter. You don't have to do sudo because we are logged in as root. You can see that it found a whole bunch of packages. After the update, go ahead and run apt upgrade, and that will update all of the software, get them to the latest versions. Also try running apt disk-upgrade to see if there's any more distribution level upgrades as well to update the entire system. Once that's complete, go ahead and reboot your VM. Once your system has updated and rebooted, go ahead and install OpenVAS. So we're going to do apt search OpenVAS, and just make sure that we do have the right package. So we're going to install the OpenVAS package, which is a meta package. So I'll do apt install OpenVAS, push enter, let it install everything that it wants to install. Now that it's installed, we're going to run the OpenVAS setup, which will go ahead and configure everything and get it running for us. At the end of the setup process, make sure you write down this password. We're going to use the username of admin and then this randomly generated password in order to log into the web interface once it's up and running. So you should be able to run OpenVAS-start in order to get it to run. If you have any issues with the output from the terminal, it may or may not tell you that there's a problem with the manager service, depending on the version of OpenVAS at the time that you attempt to do this. If you do have an issue with that, try to run the manual service commands. So we're going to do service OpenVAS-scanner start. And then we'll also do service OpenVAS manager start. In order to verify whether or not OpenVAS is running correctly, do netstat-antp. If you see 9390 and 9392 running, then you know that OpenVAS is running correctly. We're going to connect to 9392 in a web browser. So now that your services are up and running, click on the Firefox icon, and then we're going to go to our instance. So that's at localhost :9392. And we're going to go there over HTTPS. If you get an alert about a self-signed certificate, make sure you allow the exception. And then enter in your username of admin and that randomly generated password that showed up in the terminal during the OpenVAS-setup command. Go ahead and log in, and you should now be presented with the OpenVAS dashboard. So in this video, we went through the downloading and setup of OpenVAS on a Kali Linux distribution.